Hello, first-time coders. I'm sorry we have not uploaded any video in a while. I've been very, very busy, but Alhamdulillah, things are back in order, and we apologize for all the inconveniences. In today's video, we would like to show you what Jupyter Notebook can do. Consider this an introduction to Jupyter Notebook. Jupyter Notebook, it allows you to has very is flexible. It will allow you to do so many things, as we will see soon. So if you can start your Jupyter Notebook from Anaconda Navigator. For those of you using Windows, just click on the Start menu and look for Anaconda Navigator. And for those of you with Linux, you can just type Anaconda Navigator on the environment, and you would see the logo as it's loading. So when the window comes up, so we just launch Jupyter Notebook, this one here. We can, another way of doing it is we can just, to start our Jupyter, we can just say, okay, Jupyter Notebook. So the Jupyter Notebook will load. Now, if you look at the Jupyter Notebook, it's regardless of your operating system, Windows or Linux, you would see the environment. Okay. If you install it without doing any modifications to the settings, it will load in the root directory, which is the same as just opening your computer and clicking on C drive in Windows or just home in Linux. So if you look at this, if you arrange this in an ascending order, you would see Anaconda 3. Okay, why are we having this? Yeah, so if you look at what I have on the folders, and if you look at what I have on the browser, it's the same thing. So think of Jupyter Notebook like an alternate world inside another world. Think of it like the movie Avatar. So you are a human, but if you enter into a machine, you can be projected as an avatar that can look differently. So what I'm saying is the folder is the same, but if you access it through the browser, what you see is totally different from when you access it on the operating system. So let's do it side by side. So now go to documents here. So if you click documents, the same thing if you click documents here. So you can see I'm seeing the same folders. I'm looking for the folder first-hand coder, which is this one. If we open it, so if you look closely, you can see these files look like books. So these are our Jupyter notebooks where we write our code. If we look for the same folder here, where is it? Yeah. If you open it, you can see the same notebooks. However, if you try opening the notebook here, you would see jargons because this is what your computer, your operating system can see. This is what you can open directly from your OS. But if you open it through the browser, we said the browser behaves like a virtual world, so you are projected into a different world. If you open it through the browser, you would see the Jupyter Notebook will be able to convert it into a nice readable document, like you can see here. So whenever you are working with Jupyter Notebook, please don't just go to the folder and open the files. That's not the way to open it. You have to go through your browser after you start the Jupyter Notebook. Okay, so the Jupyter Notebook has the title here. You can see the title, and then this is the title of your document. You can modify the title for the document by just clicking inside and maybe adding data. So if you change this, if you look at the folder directly, you can see that the document has been modified. Okay, then this is telling you the last time the document has been saved, whether it's auto-saved or saved by you. Finally, this is the logo, and when you are done, you can log out at this point. This is your menu bar, like the menu in a restaurant. But the difference is that the menu here gives you list of items not to eat, but to use. So if you click on the file menu, you can see list of things you can do to a file. You can create a new file, for example, Python 3 files, or we can open a file, or we can make a copy of a file, or we can save a file. So the file menu is telling you things you can do to a file. One of the beautiful things we can do to a file is we can download it as. So this is a way of saving it in another folder in case. So for example, you can come to the desktop and then create a folder. Maybe you want to submit your assignment, but you don't want to submit the wrong file. So in the desktop, we have a folder called submissions. So now I can come here. Depending on the file your professor wants, you can just come. Okay, so let's say your professor wants a copy of the Jupyter Notebook, so you can download it as IPYNB notebook. So then it will ask you for download. You say okay, and now you are just like downloading something from the internet. So just come here. So now you can see it's trying to escape the virtual world into the world of your computer. Then you can just download it this way. Okay, so another thing we can do is we can download it as a PDF. You can just come down, which is this one. So if you do this, you can just say save, and then you can save it. Okay, desktop savings. All right. So now if you go to the submission folder, you would see the file in the PDF format, and you can submit this if you want the PDF document. Okay, so another thing you can do is you can add new cells. Okay, so this here, if you double click inside, each of these boxes where you put information in Jupyter is called a cell. So there are two types of cells, two main types. There are others. There is the markdown, which is just message you want to write, like this one, and there is the code cell, right? So you can select the type of cell you want either markdown or code from here. So the code can execute. it will run like a Python code. Okay, but the markdown, if you run it, it will just convert it to a readable document so that everybody would understand what you are doing. Okay, all right, so this is what edit menu allows you to do. It allows you to modify cells, move them up or down, and so on and so forth. Okay, you have the view, which allows you to modify the view of your Jupyter Notebook. So you can add a header, okay, or remove it. So now we are removing the header. Now if you click it again, you can see the header is back. Okay, these are the things. If you are not sure what a button does, just point at it and wait a second. It will describe to you what this button does. You can use the insert menu. Another important one is the kernel. Sometimes your Jupyter Notebook may hang or maybe not working well. What you can do is you can just either interrupt it or restart it. You can restart and clear all outputs. So if you restart and clear all outputs, you'll see all these messages will be gone, and I have a clean new running so that I can start all over. Right below, you have the tool bar. The toolbar is a shortcut. So for example, I can just come to file menu and do a save. You can save the document like this, just to save while you are working, or you can just say save as. Save as will allow you to save the document with a different name. So we have this button here which will just save for you without you needing to go to the menu and then looking for the file and so on and so forth. Then we have, if you want to add a cell, this is cut, you know this from Microsoft Word, copy, paste, if you want to move the cells up or down, if you want to run a cell. So what do we mean by if we want to run a cell? So when you finish typing in a cell, you have to click run to render the cell so that it acts based on what you want it to do. So click and run will create the cell, but if you double click inside, you can change it back to its original form, and then you can do any modifications you want. So this is in Markdown. If you change the cell type to row, now it's just a text. If you change it to code, now it's a code. Okay. If you change it to Markdown, then it's a format. Is a formatted text like the one you have in your Microsoft Word, just to make your document look nice. Okay. So these are the cells. Okay, you can even this is for those who understand HTML. You can actually write a HTML code, and if you change it to Markdown and you run it, it will execute your HTML code with no fuss. Now, if you have a code, this cell must be changed into code, and if you run it, the Jupyter Notebook will execute your Python code. Now, any cell that is executed will give you a number. So this number 1, that means that's the first cell I have executed. If I run another one, it will be 2. If I run another one, it will be 3, and so on and so forth. Another thing you can do with your Python is you can view it as slide, but of course you have to watch our video on adding extensions. You have to install the Rise extension before you can do this. So you can see now I have a presentation. If I just put F11, So I have a full screen. Now I have a slide. If you want to have a tour just like the one I just gave you, just go to help, the most important button in any software. The help will give you access to any type of information you want regarding extensions, the notebook itself. And if you want a tour, just click on the user interface tool. And then you can use the arrow keys, like it says left and right. So to go backwards and forwards. So if I press right button, it will show me the next item, which is this part. And it will keep showing me items the more I press right. If I want to go back to the previous item, I can just say left and it goes back. If you want to exit, just press escape. Thank you for watching. See you next time.